So I joined the Charter subgroup because I thought it was really important that in the Women in Maritime Task Force work we had a way of showing the progress that was being made and a way of tangibly showing what action had been taken and measuring that so that we could stand up and show that to the world and say our maritime industry is making good progress on our gender balance.
I was invited to join the Women in Maritime subgroup. I was sceptical, I wasn't entirely sure that it was necessary. I've been a woman in shipping or writing about shipping for many, many years. I never felt discriminated against, I never felt uncomfortable, but I came along to a meeting and I sort of started to change my mind a little bit. When I look back, I realised that I'm so used to being the only woman or one of the few women in a room or at a conference. There are very few women, certainly at the top of the industry, and probably not so many. Obviously it's outweighed all the way through the industry and across the industry in terms of men. It's a very male-dominated industry. I don't think it's deliberate. I don't think it's necessarily, discriminating against women. I think it's just an industry that always has been very male-dominated, and people didn't realise that maybe something needed to happen. So I came along to the first meeting a few months ago and started to think, yes, maybe it is needed. Maybe you need to raise awareness, make people more conscious of what they're doing when they're advertising for jobs, when they're creating the workplace where the women feel welcome, comfortable in the workplace. And so that's why I got involved. I think the subgroup is innovative because it's going to start hand-holding in a way, giving some real advice, hands-on advice to individual companies that want to do something.
I joined the Women in Maritime Charter subgroup after I joined the task force because I really am passionate about making a difference in the maritime industry, about improving the diversity and gender equality within the industry, and the Charter subgroup are really at the helm of those changes. The Charter subgroup are innovative because this is the first time that the maritime industry has worked together as a cohesive unit, and actually it's the maritime industry are quite unique in this manner, and we are working together with all sorts of companies, organisations, associations with a single goal in mind to increase the gender diversity within the industry.
They perhaps know they need to have more women in the workplace, they need to make women feel more comfortable, but haven't really thought about it and not quite sure how to go about it or what to do. There's going to be a pilot group first of all to see how it goes, but I think that it's innovative because it hasn't been done before.
I would say that the way that this charter has been approached is innovative because we see it as a partnership. It's not about us sitting in judgment of organisations and saying you have met or you have not met this standard and you get a badge or you don't. It's about us helping you to improve your gender balance within your organisation through working with you. So the Women in Maritime Task Force is in place to improve the gender balance within the industry. It struck me as somebody who came in from outside of the maritime industry just how poor the numbers are in terms of the number of women employed in the sector, especially at sea. And considering the opportunities and the great career prospects there are within the industry, it seems a shame that women are not accessing those opportunities. The charter itself I got involved with because I thought it was really important that as part of that work we had a really measurable way of showing that industry was making progress on its gender balance.
Whether it'll work, whether it will attract more people into the industry, more women, I don't know. But I think it's worth a try. I think it's an industry that's got something for everybody, from skills right across the whole industry, whether on ships, at shore, you could be an engineer, you could be a banker, you could be a lawyer, you could be a broker, you could be in education. There's something for everybody in all levels, and I think that message has to get across.
My call to you is, no matter how big or small your business or organisation is, you can make a difference. Whether you're going to join our task force, embark on the charter scheme, or whether you just have half an hour of your time that you can assist someone else, check out the information on Maritime UK, Women Maritime website, and contact us.
So our call to arms for the industry is engage with us. Come, tell us about the issues that you're having internally, share your problems, and our part of the deal is that we'll help you.
So my call to arms for the industry is for you to interact with us. Come engage with us, talk to us about what the issues you're facing are, what you need to know to improve things, what you want to start with. Where is that? If you talk to us about what your issues are, and then we can tailor the information that we have, the knowledge that we have, and the skills that we have to help you and to solve your issues.
I think it's important to stress that in all my many years in shipping, I've never felt uncomfortable, I never felt discriminated against. I think I've always been treated very fairly. So I was very sceptical about the Women in Shipping Charter or sub-charter. But when I joined, started to listen to what other people had to say, it made me change my mind. Not about myself, but about the fact that shipping may not be welcoming to women always. So I realised that when I look back, I've interviewed, for example, hundreds of people. I can only think of about 3 or 4 women. So at the top, there are very, very few women. There have been 1 or 2 people who should have been trailblazers, but obviously weren't because people didn't follow in their wake. But it's still a very male-dominated industry. But I do want to make clear that I don't think it's an overtly sexist industry. I think that's just the way it has always been, and people hadn't thought there was a need to change. And this is like a wake-up call. The Women in Maritime subgroup is the first chance for us to find out whether the pilot is really going to work, whether there really is a way of raising awareness both amongst employers and amongst employees about the opportunities and making sure women are well represented in the workplace. And this is our chance to find out whether this pilot is going to work.
When we thought about a charter, we thought about it as a partnership, like a charter party, between companies that want to do better and aren't sure how to or don't have the resources, and all of the skills and experience we have through our industry and other industries. How can we help them? How can we find ways to make their recruitment more gender neutral? How can we find ways that encourage women to stay at work or to return to work? And there's loads of other added benefits. Thinking about flexible working doesn't just help the women in your organisation, it helps all of the people in your organisation and ultimately your bottom line.